Around the Department of Defense this week. This is your DoD Weekly News Recap.
I'm Mark Weeks. The nation laid former President George H.W. Bush to rest this week. Defense Secretary James Mattis said, in a world in need of role models, we have one in President Bush.
He always put others first, whether it was his family, his shipmates at sea, his country. He always put others first. So we joined President Bush's family, all of us in the Department of Defense, and I'm sure all of you, in remembering his unwavering service to our nation.
Bush believed and lived out his belief that there could be no definition of a successful life that does not include service to others. He joined the Navy on his 18th birthday and flew 58 missions in World War II.
He certainly, in the Department of Defense, we saw him as one of our own, one of the youngest aviators in our history, decorated for valor, a warrior and a statesman, and he dedicated more than 4 decades of his life to public service, and he taught us how to live a life without regret, didn't he, by everything he did? But more importantly, for all of us who need role models, and I think that is the human condition, he always put others first, whether it was his family, his shipmates at sea, his country. He always put others first. So we joined President Bush's family, all of us in the Department of Defense, and I'm sure all of you, in remembering his unwavering service to our nation.
He is the last American president to have served in combat during wartime and the final president to have served in World War II. Bush was buried at his presidential library in College Station, Texas, near his wife Barbara and their daughter Robin. The U.S. Admiral in charge of the Pacific region remembered our fallen heroes from the attack on Pearl Harbor, Hawaii 77 years ago, where over 2,000 military members were killed.
It is truly an honor to be speaking to you today, December 7th, on these hallowed grounds. We can never forget the heavy price paid 77 years ago. More than 2,400 dead and 1,200 wounded. Soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen.
On the 7th of December 1941, the United States was drawn into World War II by the attack on Pearl Harbor, and the Admiral stands ready to prevent history from repeating itself.
I promise you, the United States will continue to work alongside our allies and partners towards that vision of a free and open Indo-Pacific. We will remain opposed to those who desire to lead a region that is closed and authoritarian. We cannot fail, and we will not fail.
The nation's top military officer attended a ceremony in Boston as the Navy commissioned its newest surface combat ship, named for a naval aviator and Medal of Honor recipient.
I have a brief and a simple message today, and it's for the captain and the crew. We've named this ship the Hudner in honor of Captain Thomas Hudner's actions on 4 December 1950, and I know you'll ensure that future generations of young sailors are inspired by his courage. Thank you, Semper Fidelis, and to the crew of the USS Thomas Hudner. Fair winds in following seas.
The Arleigh Burke-class destroyer is a highly capable, multi-mission ship which will conduct a variety of operations from peacetime presence to national security. The ship and crew are now departing for home port in Mayport, Florida. Defense Secretary James Mattis said the new national defense strategy serves as a rock of stability for the nation in a world awash in change at the annual Reagan National Defense Forum. The strategy focuses on 3 lines of effort: improving lethality, strengthening and expanding alliances, and reforming the Defense Department to emphasize performance, affordability, and accountability.
Cutting defense will not close the deficit, and I would suggest that doing so would be a disservice to our troops and the American people they serve and protect, because we all know here today that America can afford survival.
He also weighed in on defense budget cuts. That's your DoD News Weekly Recap. I'm Mark Weeks. For more stories about your military, go to defense.gov.